Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today. Had a park recommended to me, and it's a Redwood Park, but I can't hike the half mile in because I'm not dressed for it. So we just get stuck with Carbon Canyon Regional Park, which is very nice. It's beautiful out here. But there is so much to talk about because has your fear faded? Experts say it has. So before I get into it, please take a second, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and don't forget our email list. The link is below. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold Group, which I will talk about later. Let's get into this, because this is kind of funny in that, a month ago, we were in knee-deep in a bank turmoil, and we saw banks collapse. We saw Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank. We saw the threat of Republic First and First Republic, and all the debacle of that, and but nothing to worry about, guys. It's all done. Goldman Sachs steps forward, and Goldman Sachs said, listen, everybody's fear is faded, and rightfully so, because everything's great in the marketplace when it comes to banking right now, and you don't have a care in the world. Okay, Goldman Sachs. So I want you to think about this. First of all, you're crazy if you're not worried about these things right now, because the banking situation hasn't gone away, hasn't gotten better. It's just not talked about. So if it's out of sight, you guys don't have to think about it. Okay? Don't worry about it. Okay? The sham that has been perpetrated on us, and it's only getting worse. This is kind of a cool lake. I really like lakes like this that really there's just, you can see the fish swimming, and it's just right up to the shore that you can walk up to. It's very cool. So everything is not good right now when it comes to the banking situation. Lending has fallen off a cliff, and the banks are not borrowing. Okay? We're going to talk more this week about commercial real estate and how serious that is, because that problem is going to escalate and be the canary in the coal mine. Banks are not lending right now. Basically off about 50% right now. Think about this. Great story out of Business Insider that I almost didn't believe it when I read it until I researched it with, another story. And that the mortgage industry is so upside down that the average lender, think about this, lost $301 for every loan that they wrote in 2022. It cost them so much more, about 27% more than they thought, to write loans, to write mortgages, that they ended up losing $300 a loan. Isn't that crazy? Okay, you wonder why these people aren't in business right now. We used to joke with clients, hey, listen, lose $100 a job and make it up on volume. Okay, you can't, and you don't, and you're out of business. The mortgage industry is in that spot right now. It is completely upside down, and I've talked to so many people lately that want to buy houses and say, oh, Dan, what would you do? I am telling you guys, there is always ways to get money out there. Alternative financing, private lenders, things like that. And people, because they want to, they want to call Bank of America, they want to call Wells Fargo, they don't want to do any research. There are individuals that will lend you money to purchase homes. And when you have difficult times, divorces, someone dies, things like that, there are ways to get cash very quickly that make it very easy when you're conducting business. But you got to do a little research, and you can talk to people and not accept their deal and move on if it's not profitable. But the mortgage industry is completely upside down. And you think that real estate is coming back. I am telling you, every time I mention real estate, I get agents that write me and say, 6.3% is not bad. Remember the 80s? Remember how bad it was? Houses have gone up 10 times since that point. So we're supposed to sit there and act like this is no big deal, and it is. The fact that banks have lost so much money, that Wells Fargo is out of, the mortgage business. Lending Tree's closing. All these different places that are done that are not lending money for commercial real estate. It's crazy. It's nuts. You've got so many different opinions of where the industry is going, but one thing that's a matter of fact is that houses are not selling the way that they did just a while ago. And great story, like I talked about before with Josh Altman, the 5% tax if you sell something over $10 million, and most of us will never have a $10 million house, but to get as high as 5.5%, in addition to your real estate commission, is crazy. And they wanted to unload all these properties, and a lot of celebrities and famous people and rich people in LA got to unload those properties without paying that tax. But you saw shenanigans where they were giving boats, vacation homes, I get to live here 6 months before I have to move out, rent free. Craziness, just to be able to sell properties, things like that. This is the beginning of that. It's just getting worse right now. Do you feel better about banking right now? So many people have written me and sent me stories about how banks are just closing credit accounts left and right, getting rid of credit cards, getting rid of bank accounts, okay? Hey, this is a dormant account. If you don't use the account, we're going to close the bank account. Now, here's the thing. Here in California, if a bank account is considered dormant, the money gets taken and then it gets sent to the state of California. And you have to go to unclaimed.org and get your money. It takes about 90 days for them to get it to where they can list it, and then you can go and get your cash at that point, okay? Business is not good right now. Okay? There are people out there that just don't want to work the way that they used to. Sometimes people say that it takes about a decade for things to change. The health crisis made it so that things changed so quickly. People understood. People that were good employees understood the value of remote working. Gosh, I can be around my kids. I can go to the park with internet and I can get stuff done. And I don't have to be in the office and listen to those idiots, and also not spend all that money driving, okay? So there's value in that. There's a woman that gave up a job for about 200 grand a year because she didn't want to work inside the office anymore. I don't need to do this. And good employees, I told you about a friend of mine, January, February, they works for a big company, and they said, hey, you got to come in 3 days a week. She is the type of person that gets her stuff done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon remotely, and didn't need to do that, but she's less productive in the office. So how does a company like that win? By seeing her face in the office? Okay, it's crazy. Vegas was talking about all the problems that they had hiring people right now. Think about this. Las Vegas during the health crisis was like any other service company, restaurant, travel, that was completely upside down and people couldn't work. And you can't do, Vegas jobs remotely. There are executives and certain reservations and things like that people sit at home. And there's a lot of companies, stock brokerages, GoDaddy, different places like that have realized, hey, you know what? We don't have to have these people come in. And starting to pay people less for that. Well, Vegas, you need hospitality people. You need people to clean the room. You need chefs. You need people to make meals. You need people at the front desk when people check in. There is a hotel called the Horseshoe, okay? It's kind of an infamous place. This was the hotel that burnt down in the 80s, okay? And then was renamed the Bally's, okay? And had that horrible fire in the 80s. The name escapes me right now. But now it's going to be the Horseshoe. The Horseshoe opened and the rooms are available. There is nobody for check-in. You have to walk in and it's all remote. Well, I guess you don't get your room, unless you have all the identification and everything that they want. Everything's digital, which I kind of hate. I like to see people around when I check into a room. But Vegas has a problem right now, and you can read the article below about how there is just such an issue with getting people to work right now because people don't want to work. And you're going to see big changes with this. When you travel, you want people in the restaurant. You want people to cook your food, obviously. But this is a big change right now. And you know, when you borrow money or you lend, you know, you're doing your mortgage, I could care less where my mortgage application is. And I had to book a bunch of travel today and was talking to people. And I'm always asking, hey, were you working in the house today? What do you have to go in the office? And I spoke to 4 different people. One person was at the location. The other people, yeah, we're not really supposed to talk about this. But, you know, yeah, I work from home. So you're going to see more and more of that. And it's going to save people more money. But it's very fascinating with the banks, how we're supposed to believe that everything's great with the banks, and the banks are just upside down. We're going to get the inflation number this week. It's going to be sky high. And but don't worry, inflation's, you know, curtailing back to 2%. Doesn't matter, guys. Just, it's not, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the job numbers that we got on Friday were realistic at all. It's kind of a cool spot, guys. You know? Isn't it pretty? I'll have to trek out to the redwoods sometime. But it's rained so much here that we get all the, you know, the hills are green. And in October, they call it fire season because everything burns. So it's just in time for fire season, guys. So share your thoughts on this. I'm gonna plant myself on this bench for a minute. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. You know, one thing that you can do to help with your retirement and make sure that you and your family are safe is to look at an IRA or 401k that's backed by precious metals. The best place to do that is Patriot Gold Group. #1 rated for 7 years in a row. Call them today. 888-330-1431 today and get a free investor guide and find out how you can get a no fee for life IRA or 401k that's backed by precious metals. Now, I myself, I cannot stand it when I procrastinate and should have moved, okay? And find out, oh, I could have made all this money. People say that commodities are about to go into a super cycle. Wells Fargo Bank says that gold could go as high as $3,000 an ounce. As we hover around all-time highs right now, it looks like it's only going to go up from here. You don't want to miss out on this. Call them today, 888-330-1431. Get the free investor guide. Find out how you can get an IRA or 401k that's backed by precious metals from the #1 rated company that does that, and that is Patriot Gold Group. Let them know that I allegedly sent you, and get all your questions answered, but contact them today. Man, oh man, you cannot make some of this stuff up. I always love when you guys reach out and send me stories and things that just confirm stuff that we've been talking about. JP Morgan, good old Jamie Dimon, East Coast fat cat. Remember, Bill Ackman says he should run for president. Imagine that. Imagine the hell that we would live in if Jamie Dimon was the president of the United States. Okay, that's needless to say, I won't be voting for Mr. Dimon anytime soon. But Airplane Pappy, I think that's how you pronounce it, sent me this from Instagram that there is a JP Morgan coin out there already. Huh. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that completely against what Jamie Dimon said they were going to do, that they would never have a digital currency? Well, it's a payment platform, Dan. It's to cross, you know, different country lines, and it's a way of facilitating, you know, faster payments through their digital coin Onyx. Okay? Crazy. Has anybody heard about this? Anybody involved in it? Okay? It's unbelievable. Okay? Remember, central bank, you know, digital currency is not backed by anything. It's something that nobody should rely on. It's something that needs to have a central bank behind it. And last time I, you know, looked, JP Morgan wasn't a central bank. So, okay, use your own judgment on this stuff, guys. But JP Morgan, they have their own coin now. Have you guys heard this? Okay. Don't forget, guys, you get stories like this, send them out. hello@iallegedly.com. Next one is a TikToker. This was sent to me a few times, and it was fascinating. This guy applied for all these different jobs, and the thing that you're seeing is that, you know, remember, there's just under 10 million jobs available out there. Well, this guy, Brian Brainfolds, was his TikTok name, Brian went out and applied for 557 different jobs. 557 jobs. Over 75% of them ghosted him, which means that they never even responded to him, and they may have been fake jobs that they offered in the first place. How wrong is this, guys? When are these people going to pay up for this? 557 job applications. That's horrible. That should be a crime. If somebody lists a job and it doesn't exist, that should be criminal as far as I'm concerned. But share your thoughts on that one. Another thing that, there's such a race between Walmart and Amazon to see who can offer better service, that Amazon has something that, Walmart has something it looks like that Amazon cannot compete with. And, they can do AI, you can take pictures of merchandise and send it in. They'll see if they have it. There's things like that you can do. But now they have this thing, text to shop at Walmart, where you can text somebody and have the stuff put in your cart directly. Okay, because God knows you're too lazy to walk through the store and pick it up yourself. You need to text somebody, bring it to me, okay? Bring it to me now, okay? One thing that's funny about the ballpark right now is that you can sit in your seat. There are seats, depending on where you're at, that have waitress service, okay? Waiter, waitress service, whatever, okay? But you can also use, Uber Eats in the ballpark, where you can text your food and then walk up and pick it up and wait in line. Instead of waiting in line to go get a beer or go get a hot dog, just think of that. They will make the food, have it be cold, and sit there cold so that you can walk up there and avoid the line and get it that way too. Gets kind of ridiculous. I mean, text to shop. Does this interest you guys? I just think it's getting ridiculous now. And, again, commercial real estate, all this retail that's going out of business, we're seeing more and more places that are going down. And it's just a matter of time until you see more retailers that are done. So share your thoughts. You guys ever get stories like that? Send them in, because I love it. But the JP Morgan Onyx coin, you guys heard anything about this? Because I haven't until Airplane Pappy sent it to me. And again, when you guys write me from Instagram, it'd be nice to know your name, like my name is Lois, my name is Judith, my name is Christina, so that I can do that instead of Airplane Poppy, because I think I even said that wrong because it's a funky spelling. So let me know what you think so far. Michael Hartnett of Bank of America was talking about how we saw stocks run up and that it's over, and that you need to take a look at this, that we could see the S&P 500 fall from this point. I'll believe it when I see it, okay? It should happen in a real world, because if they weren't just, pumping all these stocks up and the Fed wasn't buying everything, you'd have a realistic market. Peter Schiff, on the other hand, he was on a show, great story below from Peter Schiff, talking about how Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank are just the tip of the iceberg. And you're going to see real banking problems because the Fed propped up institutions like this that were insolvent for years, and they didn't do anything to stop it. And it's just a matter of time until, they got caught, and they did, and now, there's going to be much more problems out there, but nobody wants to sit there and look at the banking situation as a whole. They just want to sit there and say, oh, problem solved, nothing to worry about, it's over with. But they have interest rates so low for so long. And, he was talking about Silicon Valley Bank, how it was basically insolvent for years, and how they had all these mortgage-backed securities that they didn't do anything about. They were putting your money into, and not making money with them. And now people are gonna have to pay. And it's gonna be us that are gonna have to pay for this stuff. And it's kind of cool. There's little docks and walkways out here. So, but beautiful spots. Nice place to hang out. It's kind of surprising nobody's fishing out here today. But there's that. Do you guys remember a company called New Century? And they were a hard money lender. They were, one of the ninja companies that you could, that would, refinance your house over the phone, basically. How much money do you make? What are you doing? They were doing refis, guys, as quick as 5 business days. Think about that. You know, basically no appraisals. They would, you know, go on stated income, look at what they thought the house was worth online, take your online, you know, income that you stayed, and they'd write the loan. We're seeing more mortgage-backed securities like that got us into that trouble right now. But you're not supposed to mention that when it comes to banking. It's not supposed to be talked about. It's not supposed to be a concern because everything's great right now. If you think that things are good right now with banking, you're kidding yourself. And it's just a matter of time until we see more of these institutions go down for the count. But, you know, Peter Schiff's been calling for, you know, the end of the world for 10 years plus, okay? Dr. Doom, Nouriel Roubini, I love that guy too, because he called 2008. I don't care what anybody says. He's been calling for a downturn for 20 years. Well, he got one right. So people like this that call things like this, you know, Mr. McDonald that worked at Lehman Brothers, that guy too. Don't you listen to people like this? You know, I do. I think it's fascinating. But, you know, Peter Schiff makes a lot of sense right now with what he's talking about with banking and with what's happening. So Michael Hartnett, again, super conservative guy for Bank of America, fiscally conservative, that is, and is not really one of these people that's, you know, everything's great. But for him to talk about things taking a turn for the worse, something you should look at, I think. So, you know, share your thoughts so far on all this stuff. One thing I wanted to remind you guys about was my friend's charity, Smitten with the Kittens. Amber runs a charity that helps find forever homes for cats. During the health crisis, you could not take cats to shelters. So she took it upon herself to start this charity and find forever homes, and has done an amazing job with this. But she's having what she's calling the Meow Mixer on Sunday. If you would like to attend, the link will be below. I think tickets are $60. She's having, you know, different appetizers and fun stuff and casino games and things like that. But take a look at it with Smitten with the Kittens. Even if you just want to donate, it'd be nice to do that as well. One thing that we are seeing with banks right now is you're seeing that credit lines are being cut off and they're not getting access to funds like they did in recent years. This was the same thing that we saw in 06, 07, and then leading to the collapse of 08. Everything just shut off. Great story out of the New York Times where there is a woman, Sarah Puel, and she runs a box wine company that's high end, and she needed to get $500,000 to $1 million to pay for inventory, pay for wine to put in the boxes. Couldn't get the money, okay? And the bank started to say things like, hey, you know, you're at a real critical point with your business. It's 3 years old. We've got to start, you know, watching our risk with you guys. How is that? Okay, either she's got orders and she's selling things, and now there's a risk concern about this. There's a banking concern, guys, right now. That's what you're going to see. Watch out, because if you have a line of credit personally or with your business right now, you're going to see these get shut off like you've never seen before. But there are so many industries that need to have the advance because, you know, she's got distributors and she's got suppliers and different people that she has to pay in advance, and she's got to pay for inventory and couldn't do it. But this is a very common problem with business, but you're going to see it more and more. Our personal lines of credit are being decimated right now. Your credit lines are being decimated. Look at your credit cards and make sure that you still have the spending power that you think you did a while ago, because you'd be surprised you may not have it anymore. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And the first one is about tax day and tax filing. There is a list of 12 things that the IRS is looking for to audit people. They call them the dirty dozen. Okay, well, that should be, you know, enough for you not to take these deductions if they're totally questionable. You know, you are entitled to take all the legal deductions you can. The best thing that you can do is make sure you have a tax preparer that understands exactly what you do, what your business is, how you earn your money, how you get paid, what your expenses are for work. You know, do you have a uniform? Do you have, you know, do you have to pay for gas out of your own pocket? You know, all the stuff that you have to look at, mileage, everything. Make sure that they know what you're entitled to, because so many people miss things. And, you know, I've been sitting around, you know, lunches with people and, oh, what was your deduction for this? What was your deduction? What? Oh, I don't write that out. Really? Okay. Get some solid advice, but they're looking to audit people. And the Dirty Dozen, that's just the beginning of it, because they're going to have more and more people. And I've talked about this in the past. They're hiring forensic accountants that are not working for big firms, that know what to look for, because they were on the other side, okay? And now they're on the IRS team. That, and also they're hiring attorneys, so when they go after people, they know what's legally right to do. So they're coming, guys. Be ready for that. Apple Computer, you know, everybody's doing so great. Business is so good right now. Apple Computer's sales for PCs in the first quarter of 2023 dropped off 40.5%. 40.5%. Millions less units sold this year than in previous years. Why is that? Okay, well, because business is off. Here's the other thing. Because business is off, people are not spending the money. People are not getting the new iPhone. And this is just the computer division. So, guys, this is happening all over the place. You know? See, there will be deals for things like this. And generally, you don't see certain products marked down too much, but they're going to have to sell things like this. You know, Tesla stock took a hit when they lowered the price again of the car. But, you know, it was great that they did this because they're selling more units. So it's interesting right now. But remember, the economy is great. You're crazy if you don't think that it's good. You just need to understand that everything's fantastic. And, you know, I had a story sent to me that I wanted to talk to you guys about. There was a kid, Drew Patrick, out of South Carolina, that caught a piranha, okay? And it's called a pacu. And it's got this big molar teeth that basically are from the piranha family. And here's the thing. People get pets. People get, you know, turtles and different fish. They're too big for my tank. And they go to places like this and they drop them and then they take off and, you know, oh my God, the piranha's eating me, you know, and they get rid of it. But this paco, have you guys ever seen anything like that? You ever caught anything wild like that? Because, man, they just destroy things. It's like, there's a lake here in Southern California, Irvine Lake, and it was loaded with carp. And I guess the carp are just, you know, horrible for a lake. And they took over and they had to deal with that about 15, 18 years ago with what they were going to do with the carp so that things would survive. Please do not forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe. That's very peaceful. And the duck thinks it's peaceful. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.